What if I told you that your entire life, every failure, every regret, every dream you buried under fear, could begin again in just 24 hours? Not next week, not someday, not after you get ready. I mean today. Right now. Most people wait their whole lives for a sign that it's time to change. But the truth is, the sign has already come. It's the pain you feel when you wake up tired of being who you are. It's that quiet voice that whispers, "There has to be more than this." You don't need another plan. You need a decision. Because life doesn't take years to turn around, it takes moments. And this next 24 hours could be the one that rewrites everything you thought you knew about yourself. Every person reaches a point where they realize they've been living someone else's life. Maybe it's the job you don't love, the relationship that's draining you, or the dreams you've quietly given up on. You look around and feel like you've lost the spark that once made you excited to wake up. That's where real change begins, not in comfort, but in the ache of dissatisfaction. When life starts to feel heavy, that's your soul asking for something more. The first step to fixing your life in 24 hours isn't about doing anything yet. It's about feeling everything. Stop running from the pain. Listen to it. We live in a world that teaches us to distract ourselves. Scroll when we're sad. Work when we're lonely. Pretend we're okay when we're breaking inside. But you can't heal what you refuse to face. So before you try to fix your life, you have to stop and admit it. Something inside you is not okay. Maybe you've been pretending for too long. Maybe you've been strong for everyone but yourself. That ends today. Because 24 hours is enough time to start telling the truth to yourself. And that truth will become the foundation of your new life. Ask yourself, what part of me have I been avoiding? Maybe it's the version of you that failed, that was rejected, that made a mistake. Maybe it's the dreamer in you who got laughed at. You owe it to that person to come back for them. You owe it to yourself to begin again. You might think change has to be big and dramatic, but it doesn't. Change begins in a single decision, the decision to stop being okay with less than you deserve. The moment you say, "Enough," the universe starts rearranging things in your favor. Here's the truth most people never hear. You don't fix your life by changing your circumstances. You fix it by changing your story. The story you tell yourself about who you are, what you're worth, and what you're capable of. For the next 24 hours, that's your mission. You don't have to become someone new. You just have to stop believing the lies that told you you couldn't. When you wake up tomorrow, don't grab your phone. Sit in silence for 5 minutes. Ask yourself, who do I want to be today? Not, who should I be? Or, what do others expect? But, who do I want to be? Then act like that person for the next 24 hours. If you want to be confident, walk like it. If you want to be disciplined, move like it. If you want to be free, think like it. Your body listens to your mind, and your life follows your thoughts. So today, you start training your thoughts to serve you, not destroy you. Think about this. Every bad habit, every toxic relationship, every self-doubt started with a single thought. But so did every comeback, every dream, every victory. Thoughts are seeds. What you water grows. So if you spend today saying, "I can't do it," you'll stay stuck. But if you whisper, "I'm trying," even when you don't believe it yet, your mind starts shifting. That's how real change begins, quietly, within. You might not notice it right away, but tiny decisions today will build a version of you that you'll thank yourself for later. When you choose water over soda, peace over chaos, reading over scrolling, you're not just improving your day, you're rewriting your destiny. The biggest trap people fall into is waiting. They say, "When I feel ready, I'll change." But readiness is a myth. The truth is, you'll never feel fully ready. You'll always have fear, doubt, and resistance. The ones who change are the ones who move anyway. So right now, in this moment, make a promise to yourself. I will not wait another day to start living like I deserve more. Because you do. You deserve peace, clarity, purpose, and joy. And the next 24 hours can be the spark that brings it all back. Now here's the part no one tells you. Fixing your life doesn't mean everything becomes perfect overnight. It means you stop accepting pain as normal. It means you start choosing what serves you. It means you let go of things that don't. If that means saying no to people who drain you, do it. If it means stepping away from something that no longer feels right, walk away. Sometimes, fixing your life starts with subtraction, not addition. You might lose a few people. You might feel lonely for a while. But what's worse, being alone while rebuilding, or staying surrounded by people who keep breaking you? Every storm clears the sky. Every ending makes space for a new beginning. This is yours. And you don't need permission to start over. You don't need to explain why you're changing. You just need to begin, even if your hands shake while doing it. For the next 24 hours, protect your energy like it's gold. Don't waste it on arguments, on negativity, or on things that don't bring peace. Watch how different your world feels when you decide your peace matters more than your pride. Take this time to forgive yourself. You've made mistakes, but you've also survived every single one of them. That means you're stronger than your past. Stop hating yourself for what you did when you didn't know better. You were learning. You still are. Now look at where you are. You've been through heartbreaks, disappointments, rejections, but you're still standing. That means you already have what it takes. You just forgot. This 24 hours is about remembering. Remember that you are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to do next. The moment you understand that, your entire life begins to shift. You'll start walking differently. You'll speak differently. You'll expect more from yourself and the world around you. That's not arrogance. That's healing. Take one small action right now. Drink a glass of water. Write down what you're grateful for. Stretch. Step outside. Anything that reminds you you're alive and capable of choosing again. That's how momentum builds, through small, honest acts of self-respect. This is your wake-up call. No more waiting. No more doubting. No more giving your power away to fear or failure. Your life begins again now, not tomorrow, not next month. Now. And if you can stay consistent with this energy for the next 24 hours, you'll look back and realize something powerful. You didn't just fix your life. You reclaimed it. The moment you decide to take back control of your life, the world begins to test you. Everything that once held you back starts whispering again. The doubts, the fears, the old habits. It's almost as if life asks, "Are you sure this time?" That's when you have to say yes louder than ever before. Reclaiming control doesn't mean controlling everything around you. It means mastering what happens inside you, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Because real power doesn't come from fixing the world, it comes from fixing your focus. Every time you feel lost, it's not because life has gone off track. It's because you've forgotten where you're steering your own mind. When you start guiding it again, with clarity, with purpose, your life begins to follow that direction naturally. You can't control other people. You can't control the weather, the past, or what tomorrow brings. But you can control your choices. And that's enough to change everything. Every morning you wake up with a choice. You can react to life, or you can direct it. The first makes you a victim. The second makes you unstoppable. Most people don't realize how much of their suffering comes from giving away their control to people, to circumstances, to memories that no longer exist. They say things like, "He made me angry," or "She ruined my day," or "This always happens to me." But the truth is, no one can ruin your peace unless you hand it over. Taking back your control starts with taking back your language. Stop saying, "I can't." Start saying, "I'll find a way." Stop saying, "This is too hard." Start saying, "This is teaching me something." Your words create your reality. Every phrase you repeat shapes how your brain sees the world. When you say, "I'm not good enough," your brain finds proof to match it. When you say, "I'm getting better every day," it starts building that evidence too. That's why your mind is your most powerful tool, or your greatest trap. It will believe whatever you keep telling it. So speak to yourself like you're someone worth believing in. Taking control also means separating what you can do from what you can't. You can't change your childhood, but you can change how it defines you. You can't erase your mistakes, but you can learn from them. You can't make people love you, but you can choose to love yourself enough not to chase those who don't. Once you start focusing only on what's within your control, you stop feeling powerless. You start realizing how much energy you used to waste on things that never truly mattered. Look around. How many things today are stealing your attention without your permission? The endless scrolling, the drama, the comparison? Every time you give your energy to those things, you lose a piece of your control. So take it back. Turn off notifications. Step outside. Breathe. Reconnect with what's real. Reclaiming control is less about adding new habits and more about cutting out distractions that keep you numb. You don't need to have your whole life figured out. You just need to stop letting life decide for you. There's power in small actions. When you clean your room, when you write your goals, when you drink water instead of reaching for sugar, that's not just routine. That's self-respect. That's a message to your mind that says, "I'm in charge here." Every choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. When you start making small, powerful decisions, your confidence begins to return. You stop waiting for motivation, and you start relying on discipline. Discipline is freedom. It's not punishment. It's proof that you trust yourself enough to do what needs to be done, even when it's not easy. And when you build that trust with yourself, you stop depending on external validation. You no longer need someone to tell you you're doing great. You know it, because your actions show it. Think about how many times you've said yes when you wanted to say no. How many times you've stayed silent when you wanted to speak up. Every one of those moments took a piece of your control. But today that ends. You're not living to please others anymore. You're living to honor your truth. Start small. Say no when something doesn't feel right. Speak honestly, even if your voice shakes. Walk away when your peace feels at risk. You'll feel guilt at first, but then comes something stronger: relief. That relief is what freedom feels like. Sometimes people around you won't understand your new boundaries. They'll say you've changed. And you have. That's the point. Growth often looks like distance to those who benefit from your old patterns. Don't explain your transformation to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. Your focus is sacred. Protect it. Reclaiming control also means confronting your emotions. Most people think control means being emotionless, but that's wrong. It means not letting your emotions make your decisions for you. Feel your anger, but don't let it define your actions. Feel your sadness, but don't live inside it. Feel your fear, but move forward anyway. That's emotional strength, to let emotions pass through you instead of consuming you. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause and breathe. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold it for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly. It sounds simple, but that small act brings your power back to the present moment. Because control only exists here, not in the past or the future, only now. Now is where your choices live. Now is where your strength is built. Now is where your life begins again. You don't need to wait for the perfect timing. The moment you decide to act differently, you're already changing your life. Start by organizing your day. Write down 3 things you will do, not 10, not 20, just 3 that matter. Then do them. When you keep promises to yourself, even small ones, you rebuild self-trust. And that trust is the foundation of a powerful life. Reclaiming control also means taking responsibility. Not blame, responsibility. Blame says, it's their fault. Responsibility says, it's my move now. When you take responsibility, you stop being the victim of your story and become the author again. That's where healing begins. If something in your life isn't working, your health, your habits, your relationships, ask yourself, what part of this can I influence today? Even if it's just 1%, do it. Because consistent 1% changes build unstoppable momentum. Don't underestimate small progress. A single degree of change can shift the entire direction of a plane, and a single choice can shift the entire direction of your life. So if all you do today is choose differently once, you're already winning. Maybe you decide not to argue. Maybe you choose to walk away instead of reacting. Maybe you smile at a stranger instead of staying silent. These little things build your control muscle. Because control isn't about force. It's about flow, the ability to stay centered no matter what's happening around you. When chaos hits, you breathe. When people test you, you pause. When your plans fail, you adapt. That's how you know you're growing. You'll notice that the more control you reclaim, the quieter your mind becomes. The noise of anxiety, doubt, and insecurity starts fading. You stop chasing and start choosing. You stop reacting and start responding. That's when you realize something powerful. Peace isn't something you find. It's something you create by controlling what you give your attention to. If you feed your mind negativity, fear, and comparison, your peace will starve. But if you feed it gratitude, action, and truth, it thrives. Every day, take a few moments to remind yourself of what's going right. Even if life isn't perfect, there's always something, your breath, your body, your resilience. Gratitude grounds you in the present and reminds you that you're capable. When you reclaim control, your world begins to reorganize itself. The things you once tolerated start falling away. The people who drain you start losing access. The opportunities you once missed start appearing. Because the universe responds to clarity. When you know what you want and what you stand for, everything that doesn't match that energy begins to fade. So today, claim your control back, from fear, from distraction, from the past. Write down what you're no longer giving power to. It could be a memory, a person, or a habit. Say it out loud. You no longer control me. Then replace it with a new declaration. I decide my peace. I decide my energy. I decide my life. This 24-hour shift isn't about becoming a superhero. It's about remembering you've always had the power, you just stopped using it. And when you start living like you're in charge again, everything changes. You stop looking for approval. You stop begging for direction. You start walking your own path, even if no one claps for you. That's real control, the kind that can't be shaken by anyone or anything. You're not broken. You're just reclaiming what's been yours all along, your focus, your strength, your will. And once you do that, no storm can move you. Because peace isn't about what happens around you. It's about what stays strong within you. And the moment you realize that, you've already fixed more of your life than you can imagine. This is your power hour. Use it. Protect it. Honor it. Because once you control your inner world, the outer one follows. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you rebuild after life breaks it. Every person who seems sure of themselves has once stood where you are, questioning everything, doubting their worth, wondering if they'll ever feel enough again. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't shout or boast. Real confidence is quiet strength, the calm belief that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. But before you rebuild confidence, you must understand why you lost it. Somewhere along the line, someone made you believe you weren't enough. Maybe it was a failure that crushed you. Maybe it was a person who made you feel small. Maybe it was your own voice, whispering doubts until you believed them. The truth is, you didn't lose your confidence. It was buried, under fear, under comparison, under years of thinking you had to be perfect to be worthy. Confidence begins to return when you stop trying to impress and start trying to improve. Most people chase validation because they think approval will make them feel secure. But security built on others' opinions is fragile. The moment they stop clapping, your self-worth collapses. That's why real confidence must come from within. Start by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even something small like waking up early, drinking more water, or finishing a task, you tell your brain, I can trust myself. That's how confidence grows, through consistency, not perfection. Confidence isn't about never failing. It's about knowing failure won't destroy you. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can count. The only difference is they didn't let failure define them. The first step to rebuilding your confidence is to stop running from mistakes. They're not proof that you're weak. They're proof that you're trying. You only fail when you stop trying. Think of your life as a muscle. Every challenge you face is like resistance training. At first it hurts. But over time, that resistance makes you stronger. Confidence is built the same way, through repeated effort in the face of discomfort. You don't need to feel confident to act. You need to act to become confident. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. So do the small things that scare you. Speak when you'd usually stay silent. Try when you'd normally wait. Every time you do, you prove to yourself that fear isn't in control anymore. Stop looking at people who seem confident and thinking they have something you don't. They just practice courage more often. That's all confidence is, courage practiced daily. If you've been living in self-doubt for too long, it's time to start unlearning the lies. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not less than anyone else. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, learning, growing, healing. Confidence returns when you start speaking kindly to yourself. Pay attention to how you talk in your own mind. Would you speak that way to someone you love? If not, stop speaking that way to yourself. Replace every "I'm not enough" with "I'm getting better every day." Replace "I always mess up" with "I'm learning from this." These simple changes in language shift your mindset from self-attack to self-growth. Remember, your brain believes what it hears most. Feed it encouragement. Train it like you train a child learning to walk, with patience and love, not judgment. Rebuilding confidence also means forgiving yourself. Many people stay stuck because they can't move past something they regret. But holding on to guilt doesn't make you better, it just keeps you from growing. Whatever you did it with the awareness you had at the time. You know more now. You can choose differently now. That's redemption. Let the past be a teacher, not a prison. Confidence is also built through clarity. When you know who you are and what you value, other people's opinions lose their power. That's why so many people feel lost. They're trying to be everything for everyone. So, take time to define your values. What truly matters to you? Honesty? Freedom? Peace? Once you know your core values, decisions become easier. You'll stop chasing things that don't align with your truth. And nothing builds confidence faster than living in alignment with your values. Confidence is also about boundaries. Saying no when something doesn't serve you isn't rude, it's self-respect. When you start protecting your time, your peace, and your energy, you remind yourself that you matter too. People who drain you will call you selfish. Let them. People who truly care will understand. Your confidence will grow when you stop apologizing for prioritizing yourself. Comparison is another thief of confidence. Every time you measure your progress against someone else's, you disconnect from your own journey. The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. You'll never feel confident if you keep looking at someone else's highlight reel and judging it against your behind the scenes. Everyone has scars they don't show. Everyone struggles in silence. You're not the only one fighting invisible battles. The secret to confidence is authenticity. Be who you are, not who you think the world wants you to be. There's power in showing up raw, real, and unpolished. You don't need to be perfect to be valuable. You just need to be real. The world is full of imitation. Be the one who chooses honesty over image. Confidence grows when you stop pretending. When you allow yourself to exist without filters or masks, you stop fearing judgment because you're no longer performing. You are not here to impress. You're here to express. That's what people are drawn to, authenticity. They don't connect with perfection. They connect with truth. Every time you stand in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, your confidence strengthens. Because every truth you own removes one more layer of fear. You'll start noticing that confident people don't try to prove themselves, they just are. That's because they've accepted both their light and their flaws. They know their worth isn't conditional. You deserve to feel that way too. You deserve to walk into a room without shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You deserve to speak your mind without fearing rejection. You deserve to look in the mirror and see strength, not shame. But to rebuild that, you have to stop looking for external permission. Confidence doesn't come when others tell you you're enough. It comes when you decide you are. So decide today. Decide that your mistakes don't define you. Decide that your dreams are worth chasing again. Decide that your time is now. Then act like it. Even when your hands shake. Even when your voice trembles. Do it anyway. Because confidence isn't built in comfort, it's built in courage. You can't think your way into confidence. You have to live your way into it. Start by doing something that makes you slightly uncomfortable each day. Speak up in a meeting. Make that phone call. Apply for that job. Tell someone you care about them. Each act of bravery rewires your brain. Slowly, the voice that said, "I can't," starts to fade. And a new one rises. "I can handle this." That voice is your power returning. It's the sound of your confidence being rebuilt, one choice at a time. Confidence isn't about always being right. It's about being okay when you're wrong. It's about laughing at yourself, forgiving yourself, and trying again. It's about being comfortable with imperfection. When you stop expecting perfection, you start enjoying progress. And that's when life begins to feel lighter. You'll notice that the more you focus on growth, the less you care about judgment. People will talk no matter what you do, whether you fail or succeed. So you might as well live boldly. Confidence isn't arrogance. Arrogance says, "I'm better than you." Confidence says, "I'm proud of who I am." They may look similar from the outside, but one is rooted in fear, the other in peace. When you're truly confident, you want others to win too. Because their light doesn't dim yours. It reminds you what's possible. Confidence is contagious. When you walk with it, others feel it. Not because you're perfect, but because you're unapologetically you. Remember, rebuilding confidence isn't a one-time task. It's a daily practice, a choice to believe in yourself, especially on the days it feels hardest. You'll have setbacks. You'll doubt yourself again sometimes. That's okay. The goal isn't to never fall. It's to keep getting back up. Each time you rise, you prove to yourself that you're capable. That's confidence in its purest form, self-trust built through resilience. Look back at everything you've already overcome. The heartbreaks, the failures, the disappointments. You survived all of it. That means you're strong, even when you forget it. You have every reason to believe in yourself. You've done harder things than this before. So today, start walking with your head a little higher. Speak a little clearer. Dream a little bigger. Act like someone who deserves good things, because you do. Confidence doesn't wait for you to be ready. It shows up when you take action in spite of fear. So take one bold step today. Any step. Because confidence grows in motion, not in hesitation. And when you finally feel that quiet strength return, that peace that says, "I've got this," you'll realize something beautiful. You never lost your confidence. You just stopped listening to it. Now, it's time to listen again. There's a moment in everyone's life when holding on starts to hurt more than letting go. You fight, you cling, you try to fix what's already broken, until one day you realize the pain isn't coming from what you lost. It's coming from refusing to release it. Letting go isn't weakness. It's strength disguised as surrender. It's saying, "I'm done carrying what's been crushing me." You can't move forward if your hands are full of the past. You can't build a new story if you keep rereading old chapters. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about forgiving yourself enough to stop bleeding from the same wound. We hold on because we're afraid. Afraid of emptiness, of loneliness, of what comes next. We think if we let go, we'll lose part of ourselves. But the truth is, what you lose was never really you. It was just something you outgrew. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't letting go of others. It's letting go of the version of yourself that you were with them. You hold on to the person who loved, who trusted, who believed. But that version of you didn't die, it just evolved. Life keeps teaching one lesson again and again. You can't heal while you're still holding on to what hurt you. Maybe it's a relationship that ended. Maybe it's guilt, resentment, or a dream that didn't come true. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what is this still doing inside me? Because holding on won't change the past. It only keeps the pain alive. Letting go is an act of love, love for yourself, for your peace, for your future. It's choosing to say, "I deserve more than this weight." You don't have to let go all at once. Sometimes it happens slowly, one thought, one memory, one deep breath at a time. Some days you'll feel free. Other days you'll feel the ache again. That's okay. Healing isn't linear. What matters is that you keep choosing release, over and over, until the pain no longer feels like home. We often mistake holding on for loyalty. We think letting go means giving up. But there's a difference between quitting and choosing peace. One comes from fear. The other comes from strength. If something or someone constantly drains you, you're not being loyal by staying, you're betraying yourself. You can't grow in the same environment that broke you. And sometimes, love means walking away, even if your heart still wants to stay. It's not selfish to choose peace. It's self-respect. So many people stay stuck because they're trying to rewrite a past that doesn't want to change. But closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you deciding you don't need answers anymore. You don't need an apology to move on. You don't need validation to feel worthy. You don't need them to understand your pain to outgrow it. Letting go is about trusting that life will replace what you lost with something better, once your hands are empty enough to receive it. Every time you hold on to what's gone, you're blocking what's meant to come. Think of your mind like a house. If every room is filled with old memories and regrets, where will new blessings live? You have to clear the space, clean out the emotional clutter. That might mean deleting messages, unfollowing someone, or simply deciding to stop replaying certain memories. It's not cruelty. It's closure. People think healing means feeling happy again. But true healing means feeling peace, even when the memory still hurts. You can't erase the past, but you can stop letting it control your present. Sometimes, what you're holding on to isn't even real anymore. It's just the story you keep telling yourself about what happened, a story that's been replayed so many times that you've mistaken it for truth. But the past is only real if you keep breathing life into it. The moment you stop feeding it with energy, it begins to fade. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over things you can't change. Forgiveness is part of that release. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Holding on to anger poisons your peace. Forgiving doesn't excuse them, it frees you. Forgive the people who didn't see your worth. Forgive the situations that broke you. Forgive yourself for not knowing better sooner. That's how you reclaim your power. Every time you forgive, you loosen another chain around your heart. And when the chains fall away, you begin to breathe again. The truth is, letting go is less about losing and more about returning to yourself, your strength, your freedom. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. When you let go, you create space for new energy to enter. The universe rewards release with renewal. What's meant for you will never need to be chased. It will align naturally once you stop holding on to what isn't. Don't rush the process. Some days you'll feel light and free, and others you'll feel the pull of the past trying to drag you back. That's normal. Healing is a conversation between the heart and the mind, and sometimes they take a while to agree. On those hard days, remind yourself, you've survived every heartbreak before. You'll survive this one too. Sometimes, the biggest act of faith is walking away without knowing what's next. But that's where miracles happen, in the space between release and rebirth. You'll notice something beautiful once you start letting go. You'll laugh easier. You'll sleep better. You'll breathe deeper. That's not coincidence, that's peace returning home. You'll look back one day and realize the weight you were carrying was never yours to begin with. You were holding on to other people's pain, their expectations, their mistakes. But none of that belonged to you. Letting go also means releasing control. You can't plan every outcome. You can't fix everyone. Sometimes you have to surrender and trust that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't. Surrender isn't giving up, it's giving in to something bigger than your fear. It's trusting the flow instead of fighting the current. When you stop trying to control everything, life starts to move again. Opportunities flow, love returns, and peace grows. You'll realize that what's meant for you can't be taken, and what isn't meant for you can't be forced. That understanding is freedom. Letting go will hurt at first. It always does. But pain is the proof that something heavy is leaving your soul. Every tear you cry is a piece of the past being washed away. Eventually, that pain turns into peace. That's when you know the lesson has been learned. Some of the greatest blessings in your life will come from the things you thought you couldn't live without, and yet somehow you did. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you love in a new way, from a distance, without attachment, without expectation. You begin to understand that love doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes love means leaving so both souls can grow. That's the kind of love that's pure, the kind that releases rather than controls. You can't fix others by breaking yourself. You can't save anyone who doesn't want to be saved. All you can do is send love, wish them well, and keep walking toward your peace. There's no closure stronger than peace within yourself. So tonight, let go, not because you stopped caring, but because you're finally choosing yourself. Let go of the conversations that never brought clarity. Let go of the what-ifs, the maybes, the "I wish it was different." Let go of the guilt that keeps replaying in your head. You've done your part. Say these words out loud. I release everything that no longer serves me. And mean it. Even if you have to say it with tears in your eyes. Even if your voice shakes. Each word carries power, power to set you free. When you start to release, you'll feel lighter. It might not happen all at once, but each day the load gets smaller, the air gets clearer, and the world feels new again. Letting go is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of a new one. You'll rise stronger, softer, and wiser. You'll no longer chase peace, you'll be peace. Because when you finally let go of what's hurting you, you make space for what's meant to heal you. And that, more than anything else, is how you start fixing your life, by freeing it.